Good morning, it's Dave at ATI Watch Reviews. Please smash the like button, please smash the subscribe button for more awesome watch content. Little wristwatch check, got my beastly GD 400 on, Casio G-Shock in black gold, loving them bull bars, fantastic value watch. But today's video is a review of a brand new British Microbrand kind of hybrid diver / casual watch. This is Saint the Racer, and it is actually, in my opinion, a homage, and I'm not going to tell you which watch or brand it's homaging, but I will give you a clue. It sounds very similar to the name of this watch. Little overview. This is a 43mm model. They're saying it's only 11.5mm thick. That is actually incorrect, at least on my unit. Screw down crown. It's got a Miyota 8215 auto movement. That has a 42-hour nominal power reserve. Not going to be super accurate at this price point, but that's fine on the autos. Sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, unidirectional, 200-meter water resist. Obviously, you've got the patterned dial with loom, with the yellow seconds hand, with a fully solid case back and a tapering, brushed and polished solid bracelet, 3-link bracelet with a deployant clasp with safety catch and 3 micro adjusts. So the specs on paper are excellent, but do they come together to make a good watch? Well, let's start off with the sizing. I've measured the sizing as follows. The bezel diameter is around 42.4mm. The case is around 43, so the case is actually correctly at 43 at the widest point. Obviously, that doesn't include this crown at like 4 o'clock. That would be bigger. It's a great size. Lug to lug is about 49, and end link to end link is about 55. The sizing. Oh, here's the discrepancy though. On the thickness, I definitely measured 12.8. I didn't get any lower than 12.8. Now, as you can see, the crystal, which is sapphire, is proud of the bezel by about, I don't know, 0.5 mil, something like that. So all I'm saying is the thickness, the thickness does feel like a thin watch. It feels like an 11.5mm watch, and you know the crystal is, with it being just ever so proud of it, that probably pumps up, increases the thickness slightly, which is where it's coming from. In their spec it says 11.5, but I get it an extra 1.3mm thicker. Again, on the wrist, as I'll show you later, on the wrist it is totally fine. It feels like a slim watch. It feels like the Bulova that I have. Yeah, it feels like the Bulova Sea Star, not Sea Star, Marine Star. Sorry, yeah, on the wrist it feels like the Bulova Marine Star. The case is nice and tapering. As you can see, the lugs are curved. It has a really nice, they've done really well on the case, really. Not to make it too heavy or too top heavy, because it's a 43mm watch, but the case fits the watch very nicely, and the bracelet as well, which I'll talk about later, balances the watch good as well. So the sizing, I'm going to say, for most people, you're not going to want to go lower than 6.5 inches on your wrist to fit this watch, because it's going to either look too big or it'll just be too big for your wrist, basically. So even though it's not, it feels true to size of a 43. I mean, for me, I'm glad they've not made it 40mm, because for my big wrists, I don't like smaller watches. This is perfect size for my wrist. And I'll just talk about the weight. I'm going to guess the weight is somewhere between 165 and 180 grams, something like that. It's got some weight, definitely, but it's not too heavy. But it has, I think probably about 160, something like that, 160 to 170 grams, it's going to be something like that. So the sizing and weight is good, because obviously the bracelet is completely solid stainless steel. It does taper, but that's going to add some weight, obviously. The sizing and weight is very good. It's my kind of approaching my ideal size for a dive watch, basically, of this style. The dial has a nice kind of patterned horizontal style to it, which is obviously paying homage to the watch it's based upon, or a watch that it's paying tribute to. I really like the way that they've done the seconds hand. I like the fact it matches the 200 meter, 656 foot. I think that it does kind of work. Obviously, you've got an interesting handset there, and you've got the date complication at 4 o'clock. Sometimes when I look at it, I'm not quite sure that it looks totally right when it doesn't align up with that 4 o'clock, but I think it possibly would have looked better at 6 o'clock or at 3 o'clock. But they've gone with it at kind of like 4 o'clock-ish, but I think that's a minor criticism, really. Obviously, it's got a chapter ring as well, as you can see, and they do line up pretty well. Let it just focus there. So it's a sporty dial, very clear, very legible. It's not difficult to tell the time, which is good. You've got that sweeping yellow seconds hand, which is a nice little touch. The crystal is sapphire, and it is proud of the bezel, as I've showed you before. And the bezel is ceramic, which is good. Will never basically scratch. It's not the best movement in the world by any means. That could be tightened up, definitely. And there is moderate back play, but again, it's by no means bad. But it could be improved, definitely. Oh, they do this watch, by the way, in a yellow with, I think, orange or red markers. I think it's orange markers, and that looks stunning also. That possibly would have looked better than this black, but I wanted the black because I wanted it more versatile. The crown is a screw-down crown, and they've signed it, which is good. I'm glad that the branding, I think, is good. It's a simple kind of shield, and it just says Saint. I think it does work pretty well. And they've got the shield there on the crown, and they've just got Saint written onto the safety catch of the clasp. So far, so good. I'll just show you the case back. Let it focus. Saint, 200 meters, stainless steel sapphire crystal. Just a simple laser etched case back. Now, moving on to the bracelet. The bracelet is fully solid stainless steel. The end links are nice and tight and snug. As you can see there, the tolerances are good. And the links, they're a simple 3-link, which is comfortable, and they're actually fixed with pins, a simple pin system, which is good, and it has the arrows which way you can knock them out. That's fine. I like pins because they're so easy to resize the bracelet. It's just a joy to do instead of using screws that sometimes don't work, and you have to catch the thread and all that, and sometimes I prefer to just have pins. You could always put a bit of Loctite in them if you wanted to. The clasp is above average, but it's not amazing. The mechanism of the safety catch is a little bit clunky. This could be definitely improved, but it's small yet functional. You've got your 3 micro adjusts. Three micro adjust holes, and you've got the push buttons, which I like, and the swing arms are pretty thick. They're pretty good mechanism. So the clasp is above average, definitely, but the tinny kind of shell and the safety catch, I think that definitely could be improved. They could put a better quality catch on there if they wanted to improve it. But the bracelet is good, and I'll show it you on my wrist. I think that looks great. You've got the Miyota movement ticking away there. One other criticism of the bracelet that I know people are going to say is that it obviously has a serious amount of polishing on it now. I'm not quite sure why they've gone with the polished outers, brushed inners, as opposed to the brushed outers, polished inners. Personally, just from the perspective of scratches, I would have preferred it, because I would have preferred it if the inners were polished and the outers were brushed, because they will show scratches way more. The polished ones will show tiny little scratches. There's none on here yet, but eventually it will do. That the brush just will not show anywhere near as easily. So, I mean, I don't know why they've gone with the polished outers. It does look nice, no question about it. It has a nice kind of gling to it. But for some people, it'll be too polished. But what I would say is as well, they do a rubber band, which I don't have. But I think for me in the summer, I would probably put it on a rubber band and switch it out a bit. I think it'd be comfier on a rubber band. It won't be as heavy, obviously. The bracelet, I think it's a very comfy bracelet. It's a little bit jangly, but I think it is a very comfy bracelet. Overall, it's not a bad watch. And actually, I've just seen online, they're doing them in a deal. Obviously, I don't know how long the deal will last, but they're doing about 50 quid discount off the RRP, which was 245. So they're doing them for around 195 quid at the minute, brand new, which I don't think is a bad deal. It ticks a lot of boxes. It could be more refined by improving this clasp and possibly offering people who want it an alternative brushing, to do the brushing on the outers and the inners to be polished. I would probably want some polishing on it because it's a black dial watch. You want something to give it a bit of extra pizzazz. So I'm glad they have put some polishing on it. Just to my taste personally, possibly too much. And from the perspective of scratches. But overall, it's a good effort. It does everything pretty good, basically. I will be keeping it, and it's something that I will be wearing. It's a great all-round watch, really. I mean, you know, you could take it swimming. It's got the water resist. It's got the universal looks. You could even put it on with a suit. It'll look totally fine because they're super versatile. These kind of dive watches with the black bezel and the black dial with a minimal kind of, you know, nothing too in your face. It's a bit of a conservative look. They could be worn with a wide variety of outfits, which is what I like. You know, I like the fact it is super versatile and you can wear it with pretty much whatever the heck you want. As you can see, The loom is good. It's liberally applied to the hands and indices. They're all nicely lit there. So, and I think the pip is as well. Yeah, it is. It's okay, it's good. I like that green there glowing back at me. Be great on holiday. So overall, it's a good watch. You've got the sapphire crystal, the ceramic bezel, which obviously always ticks the box. A kind of sporty but not boring dial. Maybe a little bit more writing could have been put on it, but I think that with what they've put on it so far, it's nice and balanced. With a decent bracelet and an above average clasp, overall, you know, there's no major weaknesses in this watch really. Obviously, I haven't tested it I've not had it years, so I can't say about its long-term longevity, but it feels like it's well built as well. So it's a decent attempt. I would improve it I would give us a two-tone version. I would improve this bezel because of the back play, and I would put a better mechanism on the clasp, even though it still is very functional. But I would like to see this in two-tone, like a blue gold or a black gold. I think that would work fantastically. But overall, it's not a bad watch at all. I'm not affiliated with them, so they're not affiliate links to them. But I have put the links down below where you can buy them off. I don't think they're on Amazon yet. It's just kind of buying them direct. But overall, not a bad all-round kind of desk diver. I think it's a good all-round watch, and it's only at the minute in the deal less than 200 quid. I think for that it is worth it. So it's been Dave. Thanks for checking out my review. Cheers.